So you might ask, why am I outside on this freezing cold day having a beer by myself? I'm not. I'm chucking it down the drain. Disappointment doesn't come close to what I'm feeling right now about chucking 50 pints of this stuff down the drain. The brew day was a tricky one, but that doesn't explain why the beer turned out so bad. Stay to the end of the video and you'll see our conclusion of why we think this beer turned out so bad.
I feel a bit like breakfast today.
What do you have?
I normally have oats. Shall we do something with oats?
Let's do an oaty one.
Oatmeal stout.
Okay, what's in an oatmeal stout?
So we can take the book from old beer craft from Jon Finch there, and he's got a nice recipe on oatmeal stout. So today we're going to attempt Jon Finch's recipe on oatmeal stout.
Are we doubling up?
Yeah, we're going to try something different today. So what we're going to try and do, rather than make 19 litres, we're going to try and knock it up to 30 litres. We're trying to work a technique that this guy, James Morton, suggests that we can liquor in back. So
Okay.
it's making strong and diluting down afterwards.
Okay, so this is going to take us about how long, Dan?
I don't know. We need to get on it quickly before it gets
4
dark.
hours. It's about 7 o'clock, so we might be on night vision on the camera.
Yeah. Hey, smack on.
So what are you doing there, Dan? You're getting it all...
We're just measuring out the grains. We've got some pale ale, or mainly Marisota. We've got some crystal, which is 632 kilograms. We've got some chocolate, which is the same, and that is 632 grams. And we've got the breakfast porridge oats, and that is 711 grams.
Do I have to blur out the making?
What if I do I do that?
Just show the kilt. Everyone knows it's porridge oats if there's a kilt in the front.
So at this point, we're going to add in all the grains to mash in at about 65 degrees. It wasn't until the first recirculation that we did the brew day start to go a little bit pear-shaped.
Okay.
So, Dan, we have a little problem.
A little one or a big one?
Me
So full we can't add more water to it, so it's...
Tried to sparge, and the sparge isn't working, is it? Because it's just not going through fast enough.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Can't be 18, that's what I was thinking about.
When you've bitten off more than you can brew.
The first thing we're thinking of is to actually empty the kettle once the mash is finished for about 60
we've
minutes.
had grains flow over the top.
The worry that we have is that we're afraid of scorching the bottom with grains that have flown over the top and actually got in the bottom. So when we boil, it's going to give us a scorched taste.
So Dan's got to brew it in the bag and a kettle. The liquid that we've dumped into a fermenter, we're going to put that back in the kettle after the kettle's been cleaned, through the bag to filter the
That's the first part.
So then we've got a basket of grains, but we want to rinse these grains.
We want to try to get some more out of it, don't we? We're trying to up the liquid at the end, so we're going to lick it back.
We're going to dump the grain into that bag, and instead of sparging, we're just going to rinse the grains in the brew in the bag kettle. And then that water goes back in to make up 23 litres to boil.
Yeah, and then we just lute afterwards.
And I'd have thought,
it hurt.
If we're going to do it again, use this much grain.
Use the same amount of grain, and I think the limiting factor was actually the basket inside. So what we do is get rid of the basket and use a brew in the bag. It'll give us a lot more width on it, so we get more in there, and we never spill over the top because it's over the edge.
That's the end.
Yeah.
Not the enge.
The edge. No, we'll leave the edge out of it.
Look at the colour on that. Oh, the smell. We're having a nightmare of a brew day.
It's blocked now, Phil. What are we going to do?
It's not blocked, there's no water left.
Oh, okay. There isn't that.
I should have brought the backgammon, shouldn't I?
Block the tent.
Sleeping bag. Whenever you get that chocolate.
It's probably so fine. That loose in 2 friends. The gravity is low, and we've got blockage. 1.028. It's the weakest beer. It's weaker than standard cup of tea, Phil.
The weakest beer we've made. We used about 50 quid's worth of grain. Oh, you didn't tell me the pipette was still in there. That like stout. Oh, what do you reckon we are now?
I hope we're higher than 125.
I don't know where you got that reading from.
What's it now?
Oh, we're 190 now.
190.
I'll put it on screen. One question, Dan.
What's that?
Can we throw the yeast in yet?
Not quite yet.
Built a wall last week and it easier mixing the concrete. What if we brew 60 pints of a beer that tastes awful?
So let's go for it, Phil.
Okay.
Yeah, how's your back?
I'll be back in a minute.
That's all right.
Your face is a bit torn. Nothing coming out of there,
Yeah.
have you?
Clean as a whistle, Phil.
Clean as a whistle. Bit in.
So at the moment, we have the smallest brew we've ever had. If any of you guys get the same problem as we are with the chocolate, let us know, and if you've got any solutions, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below.
So how do you think the brew day is going, Dan?
Different. Every one we've done so far is different, and we're really pushing our abilities, expertise, and we're trying to learn, so I'm learning. Certainly haven't seen anything this thick before. Even now it's half empty, but it's still not going down.
Not going down, is it? It's that chocolate. Well, you've seen this bit now. We've got to do this twice, viewers, so we'll come back when we've got a kettle.
Now at this point we still hadn't given up on the brew, just trying to work the problem to get some word into the fermenters. We still had confidence that we would get a decent brew out of this brew day.
Dan's refilled with Woodford's kit beer. We've got now 25 litres. Pleased? Not sure. We've just got to the boil. I'm going to add these in a sack. There's only one hop addition today. It's 95 grams of Ellie Goulding, and it's all going in now. So how do we make sure it doesn't boil over? I don't have any cool water. It's all right, mate. I've dipped my sack in. Look at how big they are already.
I'll hold it like this so I don't damage your microphone.
Don't damage, put it on. Don't put it down there.
I think it's going to turn out quite well in the end. I think so. We measured the gravity for 25 litres and it's 1.061, so we're 5 litres short. So the question is, do we liquor back, reduce the alcohol quantity, or do we keep it still at 6% beer? We're still undecided, so we'll wait and see what we decide in probably about an hour's time. I'm on the non-alcoholic pear cider and Phil's on the good old home brew.
Cheers.
Cheers, listeners. I say listeners, but people actually watching this.
Yeah, but we wanted to get something like, what, 30 litres at that gravity, didn't we?
Yeah.
Why did we miss it?
And why do you think it was? Do you think it was around efficiency or more? What are you thinking?
I don't know.
I got a theory. I remember all the grains we couldn't get in, so we pushed to the side and put it back in the box. So
500 grams of grain we didn't put in.
Yeah, and that's probably the difference.
We'll cool this puppy down. Why is that one a good one, Dan?
Well, it's just a good one because it goes up to 25 degrees and we've got a bit of a heat wave for the next 2 days. And we just hydrate the yeast. The big boy, we have that yeast. And for the little boy,
The little fella.
and don't forget to subscribe, get lots of good tips from us.
Wow, that's the highest beer we've ever brewed. Are we going to dilute with water?
Let's see how much we can get in there. I think we're going to get about 27 litres. We'll wash the two fermenters out. We've got two different yeast to use. So I think we'll probably dilute this slightly, but we'll get about a 5% beer out of it.
Look at that, double bucket. So did you get it? Did you work out why the beer tasted so bad? Did you spot any of the clues? When our oatmeal stout started to ferment, the UK was hitting the record high of over 37 degrees. This was over 10 degrees higher than the recommended temperature that our yeast could tolerate. So when the yeast is stressed like this, it produces off flavours. It tasted a little bit like bile, vinegary, sour, rancid. Even the smell was terrible. We couldn't drink a drop. I cannot stress to you how bad this beer was. We could have still fermented the beer, maybe used the yeast, Kveik yeast, tolerates up to and over 40 degrees. That's without it being stressed and producing any off flavours whatsoever. Alternatively, we could have used a wet towel and a fan. This would have helped to cool the work down to a temperature that the yeast could have tolerated. Or we could have spent £600 and bought a glycol chiller. Temperature matters when you ferment. Ferment at the right temperature. Thanks for staying to the end of the video.